Hi guys, welcome back to Dice Gaming. Today I'm going to break down a Warmachine MK4 card to hopefully bite-sized bits so it's a bit less overwhelming for new players to digest. Before I do all of that, I just wanted to first of all cover that I've made a Discord server for the channel. I'd love to make a place where people can share their hobby, talk about our interests, and generally nerd out. There's a link on my YouTube channel and I'll put one in the description. I'd be most grateful if you'd like to join that. Secondly, I'm learning a bit more about how YouTube works, and I'd be really grateful if you could maybe drop a comment on this video and like it. That allows me to appear in people's recommended feeds who haven't subscribed to the channel. Lastly, and I'll be very grateful for all of this, is if you could subscribe to the channel. I'm close to another breakpoint, which will let me be more visible on the platform in general. Without that all the way, let's take a look at a Warmachine MK4 card. First of all, the card will simply state what the model is. So we're looking at Major Alistair Kane. He's out of the two-player starter set for the Signar faction. Below that, we've got the faction. You will see other Warcasters have the same faction tag, Signar. Next, we've got the Gun Mage tag. This doesn't confer any rules, but is an identifier that he is a Gun Mage, and that will be called out in some leadership abilities and his feat. Next, we've got the Hellslinger Cadre. Now, Command Cadres I spoke about on my last video, and that is a cadre which is a bit of a mercenary group within the faction, and that will work for both Grave Diggers and Storm Legion within Signar. Lastly, we've got Warcaster. That denotes he's a Warcaster, and that comes with a certain group of rules, which I'm not going to go deep dive into today. And then we've got Field Allowance C, which means he's a character. Only ever allowed one character, well, one of that type in your list, so only one Kane per list. Next, you've got Health. That simply knows how much damage points you can take before you kick the bucket. Below that, we've got a few boxes. Now this I think where it might become overwhelming for new players. If you click all these boxes, you might think, wow, that's a lot of rules to try and keep in my head at one time. We're going to go through one box at one time and hopefully make it a bit more approachable. So the first box here, you've got rules associated with said model. So these are rules associated with Kane, and they've got a few things going on. First of all, you've got a few icons here. Now you might think, how am I meant to know what these icons mean? The app's got a really great function. Click this question mark. Click any box you want to highlight. I'm going to highlight this box because I would like to know what these mean. We're going to click this, and suddenly it's going to tell us that what base size. So these ones here, 30 mil is going to mean I'm on a 30 mil base. It's also going to tell me what the icons mean here. So I don't have to keep in mind or know this every time. I know that I can click the question mark and find out what these icons mean. And also, it's going to break down the model statistics for you. Now, I'm going to do that quickly today, but I'm not going to deep dive it. I might save that for another video. What you have here, as we previously went over, is the model statistics. Worth noting, Alistair Kane doesn't have a melee attack because he hasn't got a melee weapon. But if we quickly look at Haskell, for example, you'll see he's got a melee attack stat because he's got a melee weapon. I'll briefly go over what these mean, but as I said, I'm not going to really go too deep into it. So first of all, you've got the speed of the model, simply how far the model moves in inches. You've got your arcane attack. Now, I'll quickly cover for maybe returning Mark II or Mark III players. Previously, arcane attack, arc, and control were merged into one stat simply called focus or fury. In Mark IV, they've broken these stats apart into arcane attack, arc, and control. So arcane attack is what you're going to use if you're casting an offensive spell on an enemy model. That is the stat you're going to reference to try and hit them. Your ranged attack, and similarly melee attack if you've got a melee weapon, is the stat you're going to reference to try and hit them. Your defense stat is the stat you're going to reference when someone's going to try and hit you, or you're going to reference the opponent's defense stat when trying to hit them. Armor, if they've hit you, that's what you're going to reference if someone's hit you, how much damage they do to you. And that's what you're going to reference if you hit someone to try and work out how much damage you do to them. Arcana is how much focus, fury, or essence you're going to get if you're an infernal. And control is your control range in inches. So Alistair Kane from his has a 12-inch control range from himself. Then in this box, you're going to have rules associated with said model. So Alaska Arcane has a few, and he's got one called Leadership Gun Maze. So this Gun Maze tag here is called out in this leadership ability here, and we're going to quickly, just as an example, look at the Black 13th unit, which is a unit which is part of the Hellslinger card ray, and you're going to see here it's also a Gun Maze unit. So that tag is going to let you know what the Gun Maze rule affects. Next up, we've got weapons. Weapons are green if they're ranged, and if you've got a melee weapon, such as Vargas, it's going to be in orange. Now, if you click the weapon box, it's going to have rules associated with that weapon. Again, if you're not sure what these icons means for that weapon, you can click here, and it's going to tell you what those icons mean on that weapon. Again, you've got associated rules with the weapon. I'm not going to go through what all of these mean. All you need to know that these boxes refer to this weapon. And then lastly, in a Warcaster, you've got a feat. Now, feats are once per game abilities which will define a Warcaster, and they might also define the list you build around a Warcaster. While we're here, I'm just going to discuss two terms really. There's while within and currently within, and you've got one turn and one round. So if a feat affects models while you're within it, I'm going to apologise for my MS Paint skills. What while within means is that while you're within the area, you get the bonus. So if these two models start here, they're going to start within the feat, and they're going to get the bonus. No problem. This model starts here, outside of the feat. He's going to be able to move into the control zone. Then if he does a ranged attack, for example, he's going to do his ranged attack while within his Kane's feat, and he's going to get the bonus. So that means while within. And Kane's feat also refers to one turn. So while you're within Kane's control area, you are going to get a bonus to your attacks. I'm not going to specifically break down what it does, but you get a bonus to your attacks, and that's going to last one turn. And one turn denotes one player turn. So that's going to be just my turn as a Signar player. Another terminology which is used is currently within. So this is a feat from a Warcaster from the Chimera faction. Any models currently within Lilith's control range have a -2 rat rather than while within. So what that means is that this is a pulse effect rather than a aura effect. And if you know what those terms means, fantastic. But what pulse means is that you're going to feat, it's going to affect models that are currently within it, and then it's going to be done in terms of what it affects. So if Lilith was here and she used her feat, and these are enemy Signar models, because they're not currently within her control range, it would have no effect. So she would need to move and then get those enemy models in control. And now if she feats, they are currently within, and it will affect them. On top of this, Lilith's feat is going to affect enemy models affected for one round. So that's going to affect it for my turn as the Chimera player, and then your turn as your opponent's player. So you've got turn refers to one player turn, and you've got a round which affects to two players' turn. So my turn and your turn. So hopefully that clears up while within, and hopefully that clears up currently within, and I hope that clears up for you what a player turn is and what a player round is. Lastly, on a Warcaster's card, you're going to see spells. So this is going to break down what each spell does. Each Warcaster has got a few unique spells to them. There is a mechanic called a spell rack, which you're going to be able to pick some spells each game from a list. I'm not going to go into that today. Arcane Attack is what you're going to use to try and hit an opponent with an offensive spell. The cost of the spell is in Focus or Fury or Essence. The range is in inches. A ranged self spell can only be cast on yourself. A ranged control spell would affect models in your control, or you would have a range of control. You've got AoE, that is if it's an area effect spell, and you've got the power of it if it's an offensive spell. You've got duration, which you have different types. You can, and I'm not going to go into that today. That's the duration of the spell. And is it offensive? Yes or no. Now, Warcasters are the most complicated card. They have what is mostly going on in the game, and they've got a lot of good things going on. Just quickly, if we look at a unit card, hopefully we will see, let's do the Rangers. They've got some rules, but hopefully you can see that they've not got as many rules as a Warcaster. So that hopefully for you makes looking at a card a bit simpler and a bit more digestible as a new player. Before I finish, there's just a few terms I want to go over which you might see come up quite a lot, and hopefully I can explain to you what they mean. First of all, we're going to take a look at what a leader is. Now, a lot of rules may refer to a leader, and in the scenario packet, it may refer to what a leader can score. A leader is simply an Infernal Master, a Warcaster, or a Warlock. Now, with this screen, I want to quickly show you how good the search function is in the app. So if we go library, and I wanted to find out what a leader was, you can go library, use the search, and I'm going to type in leader, and bam, we're going to get results. We can search through like Warlock Training Guide or Warcast Training Guide, but it'll also find you the results from the core rules. Similarly, if I want to look at what a battle group is, say there's a spell which affects a battle group, I want to know what that is, I can click battle group and find it here. So the search function on the app is really powerful, and I recommend giving it a go if you want to find out a specific term. So now we know what a leader is, let's take a look at what a battle group is. A battle group will contain a leader, so a Warcaster or a Warlock, and it'll also contain all of its cohort models. You can have Warjacks, Warbeasts, Monstrosities, or Horrors. So you've got your leader now, which is your Warcaster or Warlock, and you've got your battle group, which is the cohort models in that and your leader model. But what is a cohort model? A cohort model is a Warjack, Warbeast, Monstrosity, or Horror. So you've got your battle group, which consists of your leader and your cohort models, and collectively they are all a battle group. The last thing I'm going to touch on today is Grunt against Trooper. Grunts are basic troopers in a unit, and attachments are troopers. The difference is that a trooper is not a grunt. So command attachments and weapon attachments are troopers, but they are not grunts. So if I have a spell or an action that can return a grunt to a unit, I can't return a command attachment or weapon attachment. While they are troopers, they aren't grunts. That's going to be it for today, guys. I hope I've broken down a little bit for you and made clearer what a Warmachine Mark IV card is, and hopefully made it a bit more approachable, as well as I've explained some of the key terms that you'll see a lot come up. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you in another one very soon.